plan?
Oh, we may stay in Miami. We may go back to Vegas.
Okay. What are we doing with the winnings?
Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we will be talking to you about Tyron Woodley reacting to Jake Paul's new training footage. YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul, with 3-0, will be stepping back into the ring to face Tyron Woodley, the MMA star in the fighting circle. The fighter and the YouTuber will face off in August for Jake Paul's fourth fight, having humiliated Tyron Woodley's friend, Ben Askren, with a first-round knockout last time out. While both the fighters are preparing for the showdown this summer, work is already in process to sell the fight to fans across the world. Jake Paul recently appeared in a new training video on a beach while he was preparing for his fight against the famous UFC champion, and he looked concentrated and ready for the battle. The new training video shows Jake on a beach with others, training with full enthusiasm for the upcoming match, leaving the fans in surprise. So what was Tyron Woodley's reaction to Jake Paul's new training footage? Let's see. But before we get into it, make sure to like the video as it really helps out the channel. Let's get right into the video as there is a lot to cover. Jake Paul appears to be putting in a lot of hard work for his upcoming fight. In a face-to-face pre-match meeting, Jake confidently claimed that if Tyron beats him with a knockout, then Jake would double his purse. To this, Tyron replied saying, "I'll smack your ass," in a rather funny way. Jake seemed confident in the video, and why shouldn't he after knocking 3 champions consecutively? However, in a recent photo shoot, Jake appeared to be scared of Tyron as he avoided making eye contact with the fighter and rather looking at the camera or ground. After 4 consecutive losses by Tyron Woodley, a fight with popular yet relatively inexperienced YouTuber Jake Paul seemed like a golden opportunity for the former UFC welterweight champion. Following his UFC cut, the boxing match is scheduled for late August. However, the excitement of a profitable super fight is restrained by fear of potential pullout from his opponent. After a first-round KO win over Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, who has some memorable knockout wins behind his back during his UFC reign, seems like a huge step up in competition for Paul. Even though the only professional fighter Jake ever faced was a 36-year-old wrestler and his actual boxing skills are yet to be tested, famous social media name brings a lot of interest to the fight. His latest fight with Askren reportedly sold more than 1 million pay-per-views. Although the legitimacy of these numbers has been questioned by a number of famous MMA figures, including UFC President Dana White, nobody can deny the ability of Paul brothers to draw attention, which indeed can be turned into profit. After only 2 more or less professional fights, Jake Paul can be considered as one of the biggest draws in boxing, so understandably, he had many options for his next opponent. Names like Michael Bisping, Kamaru Usman, and even former UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier were discussed, but none went so far down the negotiation process as Tyron Woodley did. His fight with Jake has been booked for August 28th. Despite contracts being already signed, Woodley fears that Paul might pull a last-minute excuse to withdraw from a fight, as Tyron lately told Mike Swick on his podcast. He even talks about reducing the amount of training footage he uploads on his social media, not to scare off his opponent. That is also the reason Woodley launched a campaign on Twitter to pressure Jake Paul, with hashtags anti-bitch clause, targeting potential pullout and its prevention. He names a number of potential excuses from Paul, like being on monthly or fake coughing corona. The 39-year-old veteran undoubtedly has belief in his boxing skills after years of training and sparring with world champions. His last UFC knockout win dates back to UFC 201, when he finished Robbie Lawler to win the welterweight belt. He suffered some back-to-back one-sided losses at the end of his UFC career, but his last action-packed round against Vicente Luque made it clear that there is still gunpowder left in the chosen one. Jake has been known to be conscious while choosing opponents, so Tyron's fears can be justified. He cannot let this opportunity slip away and is trying all he can to prevent fight cancellation, including pressure on social media with help from the MMA community. Are you enjoying our video? Before we get further into the video, then make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more amazing videos from us. Let's continue with the scenario. Jake Paul, however, doesn't believe that Tyron Woodley will be capable of handling the power of his punches. Paul stated in a recent interview that his attributes would be too much to handle when the fighters square off in the ring. Tyron may be a former UFC champion, but betting odds made him the underdog against Jake Paul in the ring. Jake Paul recently spoke about the fight against Tyron Woodley and discussed how he is unlike any opponent that Tyron has ever fought, especially from a power perspective. Pointing to the 39-year-old losing streak as proof, Jake Paul claimed that he'll be too powerful for the former UFC champion Tyron Woodley when they face off. Tyron ended his UFC career with 4 losses in a row and conceded his belt back in 2019 to Kamaru Usman. Jake insists that Woodley is mentally shot and will fold under the 3-0 rookie's pressure. "I think as soon as I touch him, his body is going to go back to that losing mentality, the fight or flight, and he's not going to want to sit there and fight," Jake told Brendan Schaub. "I don't know, I just see that that's why I've been saying 2 rounds. I'm too sharp, I'm too fast, I'm too powerful, and he has 85 days to do this, learn how to box, and unlearn all those bad habits. I'm going to eat up his body, I'm going to eat up his head. He's not going to know where I'm coming from. Kamaru Usman put some damage on him. All these guys put some damage on him. Gilbert Burns put the damage on him. He's coming in as a wounded soldier." Despite his opponent's pedigree, Jake is also reveling in his status as the favorite for the fight. He further continued, "I'm not surprised, it's just funny. I've just made a lot of people a lot of money in the past 3 fights from people betting on me," the 24-year-old added. "They are stacking the odds. I've had people come up to me saying they made 10 million, 5 million off of betting on me. It's funny, like, why is me, the YouTube kid, the favorite against the 5-time UFC champion?" In an impulsive podcast episode, Logan Paul, Jake's elder brother, asked him about his views on MMA fighters, to which Jake mockingly claimed that he isn't afraid of any MMA fighter, including Tyron. Logan stated his fight prediction too on his younger brother's 4th professional bout, and he has advised Jake to continue his impressive KO record. Logan further added that a knockout is for sure, but it'll probably take his brother 3 rounds for that. Basically, the YouTube star is predicting a 3rd-round knockout victory for his brother Jake Paul over Tyron Woodley. If Jake can really score a quick knockout of the 39-year-old Tyron, that would be impressive. Tyron, on the other hand, will have a good game plan, and he'll be ready for Jake. Logan's prediction seems to be too quick for the type of opponent that his brother is facing. Jake has clearly been doing his homework on Tyron, who is not an endurance athlete by any stretch of the imagination. However, fans have warned Jake that Tyron is much better compared to his previous 3 opponents, and would give Jake a tough competition. Jake posted on Instagram recently, "My pro fights haven't lasted long, but in sparring, I love taking my opponents into deep waters and drowning them with my overwhelming cardio, consistency, and precise punch selection. Soon we will see how well Tyron can swim." Tyron is one of the most powerful and explosive fighters in the world, but the former UFC welterweight champ has struggled with high-volume, high-output-based fighters in the past, losing to pressure fighters in Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman towards the end of his career. Although Jake has already beaten a former MMA champion inside the ring, Tyron would seemingly bring a bigger challenge. But if Jake gets to outpoint the MMA star, he'll set a bar for sure, and it would land him up to the new heights of stardom in the combat world. With that said, Jake's cardio is a mystery, given the YouTube star has never been taken into deep waters himself. And with that being said, it's time to end our video, but before that, we want to know how you feel about this. Which side are you supporting? Is it Team Tyron or Team Jake? If you think Tyron is smashing Jake off, comment below Tyron. And if you think that the problem child will make it to 4-0, you know what to do. See you in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.